Okay, for the last 4 years, Larry Woodcock and Kay Woodcock have been trying to get answers about their grandkids. Like, first, where were they? Where are they? Was the first question they asked. And then when they turned up dead and murdered and buried in someone's backyard, the next question was, who did this? And then the most important question is, what's going to happen to the people we think did this? So they've been waiting patiently, asking a lot of really important questions, begging police for help. And they were expecting that on Monday they were going to start getting answers about JJ and Tylee. Here's how they factor in and why they are JJ's natural grandparents and consider themselves grandparents of Tylee. So Kay Woodcock, her son had a baby. That's JJ. And wasn't able to care for him. And so Kay's brother, Charles Vallow, said, I will adopt that baby. I will adopt my little grandniece, right? And so Charles and his wife adopted little JJ, who had special needs, was autistic. And Charles and his wife raised JJ with their other child, Tylee. You know who that wife is? That'd be Lori Vallow. So Lori Vallow becomes the adoptive mother of JJ, and Lori Vallow's got a daughter named Tylee, and they all grow as a happy family until all of a sudden those children disappear and are murdered and are now found in the backyard, buried in the backyard of her newlywed husband, Chad, right? She is also accused of killing Charles in a conspiracy. So that's how that all comes apart. And now Lori has said to the judge, I don't want those people in the courtroom. I don't want JJ's natural grandparents in the courtroom. And her reasoning? Legally, they aren't grandparents at all. I adopted JJ. So they are no longer victims who are family or grandparents. So out they go during testimony, even though they are going to have to testify. And they are the only living family members now of those little kids who aren't accused of murdering them. You know, apoplectic would not even begin to describe how Larry and Kay feel about this. Had a chat with them today. They couldn't even come on television. They're so devastated about it. And they are going to fight back. But I want to bring in Lauren Matthias. She's the host of the Hidden True Crime podcast and YouTube channel, has been covering this case since the beginning. All I can say is this might be the lowest low since murder and disposal of 2 children. I want to just get your take on this, given how much you have invested into covering this.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. This would be re-victimizing a victim to say they're not victims. Not only did they give up this child, JJ, that they loved for adoption, they took him home from the hospital. I've heard the story from Kay and Larry myself that they got a call and they took JJ in from the moment he was born. They raised him. Larry would put him on his chest and rock him. I mean, these are grandparents in the fullest account. And when they did choose to give JJ up for adoption because they wanted him to have brothers and sisters, they said only if we can remain his grandparents. And that was okay. And they did. They remained in his life.
Yeah, here's what's fascinating about that. Lori Vallow now presents to the court through her attorney that, quote, Kay Woodcock gave herself the title grandma. That is what was asserted in a court of law in Idaho, also suggesting that it's not in accordance with Idaho adoption law that they would be actual family members, victim family members. But JJ wasn't adopted in Idaho. So I can't wait to hear how this judge, sort of decides to distill all of this and make a ruling next week. I do want to play this, though, Lauren, and this is how Larry said on my show. I think it was just last week we just had him on last week. Here's how he's referring to these children. And let's all watch together and assess if they're not loving grandparents of these children who didn't just anoint themselves grandparents. Take a listen to this.
People were murdered. I lost a grandson. I lost a granddaughter. I lost a brother-in-law. And God, I pray for everybody every night involved in this case. Tammy was a tragedy. It was all of these murders are just totally unjustified.
Lauren, these grandparents have waited years for justice, and then to have this sort of kicked in their face today, it's so overwhelming, especially since Lori had other words to say about her own son, Colby, who she says can be a victim, a family member victim who can sit through the trial. Is he even going to show?
From what I've heard, I don't think he is. And also, I want to point out that JJ has two other half brothers they weren't even mentioned at the hearing today. So I don't know why he's saying that Colby's the only legal victim for multiple reasons, But
Colby Ryan wasn't even Colby Ryan. Colby Ryan, took on the name Ryan when Lori remarried Joseph Ryan, and then had Tylee Ryan. So they're, brother and sister as well. I mean, the whole thing is so appalling. I have a feeling, Lauren, let's re-meet on this one. I have a feeling the judge will say, don't tell me Idaho law doesn't see these people as victims, family members. They are. Whether you can say they were adopting out their child or not. I mean, it's unbelievable. Lauren, thank you. Good to see you. Let's talk on better terms next time, I hope. Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.